Today I'm going to be giving a description of what it means to have the South Node in the sign of Libra, and that would mean that your North Node is in Aries in your natal birth chart. So we're talking about the lunar nodes. What are the lunar nodes? Well, the lunar nodes are 2 points. They're the nodes of the moon. That's what lunar means. And so the South Node is always in the opposite sign as the North Node, and we're looking at the different polarities of signs. So in this case, we're dealing with Aries and Libra, two signs, 6 signs away from each other, and these signs separate the two different parts of the zodiac. So for the first 6 signs, Aries through Virgo, we're dealing with the self. But then we look at relationships with others in the world around us with Libra signs, Libra through Pisces, more so. The South Node, first of all, is what we're coming into this lifetime with. Um, the gifts that we have, the strengths that we have, what we're used to, what we're innately good at, what's familiar to us, and also what is known and comfortable to us. It's our comfort zone. Really going back to who we are from the very beginning. It's just a default mechanism that we go back to doing on autopilot. That's the South Node. And the downside with South Node energy and getting stuck in it is exactly we can feel stuck. We're hitting a rut. We're not growing. We're not evolving. We're not really expanding. We're not getting anywhere. In this lifetime, your soul wants to learn and wants to do something new, wants to experience something much greater and have a sort of, transcendent experience that is deeply meaningful. And it will bring you peace and happiness. And that's your North Node. It's opposite your South Node. And that is your North Star. And it can be, an indicator of purpose, but I think it has to do with destiny. Where you're destined, where you're inevitably going to go based off of yourself or the people, relationships, circumstances that come into your life, because the nodes are also fated. They're also karmic. This was meant to happen. You were meant to learn these lessons and experience this. The North Node can be a stretch because it is unfamiliar and it's sort of who you are becoming. It's brand new, but it is increasing, it is strengthening, and going there is important. Balancing your North Node out with the South Node, it's not either or, it's both and, is important. So going back to what you're comfortable with, what you've always known is important, but then not staying in that comfort zone too long and, growing. Um, and, that kind of thing. Like we all need to come home sometimes. So that's just a basic description of the lunar nodes and what they mean. Um, and yeah. And if you don't find the South Node showing up in your natal chart, just know that it's exactly opposite your North Node by sign and house placement. If your North Node is in the 5th house, like mine, your South Node is in the 11th house. Because the 5th and 11th houses correspond, the houses correspond in the signs. The 5th house is opposite the 11th house. Leo is opposite Aquarius. And the characteristics and traits of the zodiac signs are similar to what the houses are about in astrology. So, Houses from 1 to 12, just like there's 12 signs in astrology. So, anyway, delving into your South Node placement. So, the South Node in Libra comes in with a lifetime serving someone else, in being in relationship, because that's what your strength is. That's what you're good at, is being able to, get along with somebody else, listen to their point of view, hear what they have to say, and just bond with them and connect with them, and be in partnership and balance with them. But is it really a balance? Because the downside with the South Node in Libra can be over compromising, putting your needs after the needs of other people, and really bending over backwards, um, and not being true to yourself in the process of compromising. When you're compromising, you're sort of, denying something and taking away something from yourself. Um, so that was what you sort of grew into, and sort of putting yourself on the back burner, because you didn't feel, that you're not used to, asserting your own uh, needs. So, that's something really familiar. Overly compromising, collaborating, getting along with other people is a strength, but it can also be a downfall where you're overly accommodating, overly concerned with the needs of other people and taking care of the needs of other people. Um, and so, where you feel drained, where you feel like, you don't have, oxygen to breathe, necessarily speaking. Um, like, um, you're taking away from living your own life and taking care of yourself, and living the life that you want to live. So, people pleasing can also be another, thing where, you didn't want conflict, you didn't want destruction, you did not want to rock the boat. It was super important, and you knew the right language and how to charm others, and how to, um, say the right things and present yourself in a certain way. Those are all talents. But, again, there's shadow sides to these where it can get to be too much codependency. You're relying too much on other people to provide you what you wanted, what you needed. Depending, on others, so much. You're probably waiting around for other people. You're living according to others, schedules, and your relationship, with, um, those people. Um, so, I think when it comes to the higher road of Libra is co-independent. Yes, you are in a relationship, but you're also independent. So, codependency, um, is another, downside with the South Node and Libra, because remember, the South Node indicates and sort of pulls up the shadow sides of whatever sign it's moving through. Now, I have a video where I go more in depth into what the South Node and North Node are about. So, wanting peace at all costs, at all costs, not, addressing the issues that need to be addressed, necessarily speaking. And in relationships, you can get enmeshed and entangled, where you lose your sense of self, where you lose your sense of identity of who you are, and being true to who you are. Um, and, it's always something that you're very familiar with, is seeing yourself through others. I was reading about this placement and it was talking about defining yourself through others. That was the word that it used, defining yourself through another person as opposed to completing yourself or, you know, um, saying, being your own leader in your own life and, and coming back to yourself. Um, and fairness, it was really important, just like the trait of Libra, just like the scales, how we want the scales to be in balance. Fairness was super important. Um, and yeah, so, something that you're coming in with is a need for fairness, a need for um, pace, things to be even, things to be in tandem. Now, moving on to your North Node in Aries, this really relates to the courage to be your authentic and true self unapologetically. Um, you know, is just, stepping into that. It's about finding your identity, finding who you are and claiming it, going after what you want and need, and stepping into, pioneering your life, being bold, being determined, being self-assured can be a good thing, not a bad thing. Um, it can be, someone who initiates something, a project or, whatever it is. And so, yeah, in your relationship, it's important to assert what you need and what you want and live according to your own values. Standing up for yourself is super important. Um, yeah, really speaking your truth, living your truth, and being honest about your thoughts, feelings, and beliefs, and honest about the changes that you want to see. And, not necessarily controlling other people to change or become different, but, um, having that kind of backbone where you can, um, again, um, sort of stand on your own 2 feet, um, and have some, taking a stand to those issues that you feel passionately about, both global and personal issues, even. Um, and Yeah, so I think that you, in a way, can bond really well with the North Node in Aquarius, which is about which can find fulfillment with in one area, um, be, um, really dealing with humanitarian issues. So standing up for yourself is important. Being honest again, because Aries is honest. It's real. Being real. Drawing healthy boundaries. Between you and another person, and the only person that crosses your own boundaries is your own, yourself. So, I have this boundary. I'm not going to, be a martyr to myself and, give in to this. That's not serving me because, when you feel drained or pulled down energetically, um, and, emotionally, spiritually, and, psychologically, then that's when you are, sort of stuck in the shadow sides of that South Node, which you need to release in this lifetime. Now, I'm not telling you how to live your life. It's all based off of what direction feels right and when you should go in that direction. Sometimes it's going to feel right to follow your North Node and Aries. Sometimes going back to your South Node just feels right, depending upon that situation in your own life, and you make that decision, and you will naturally want to balance that North Node and South Node. It's important that you balance these nodes out. just like Libra. So boundaries, drawing healthy boundaries. Um, Goals. What are your goals? What do you want to, do? What do you want to achieve? Aries is about, achieving things, and you can really get under the world and make great things happening that you accomplish, that you can feel good about, that you can feel proud of. That those are your achievements, and you can feel good about yourself, proud about yourself, and establishing self-esteem, self-confidence, um, and the belief in yourself that you can do it. And so, going back to boundaries, this can also be self-respect, establishing self-respect, um, and self-love. Like when you respect and love yourself, then you are much more easily, you will more easily, respect and love others, and it will come more, naturally to you. So, um, self-love, is important, that you are allowed to engage in this thing, that you're um, worthy of having this, that you are worthy of experiencing this. Um, and yeah, so that's what it comes back to. And, self-care, valuing yourself, um, putting your needs first. And so, self-sufficiency, the North Node in Aries also relates to being independent. Um, yeah, living a life of your own, doing it on your own. And when you can step into that, you'll find that meaning that you want to, that your soul is calling you, to move into. And, another trait is, trusting your gut, of going after what feels right, and what you genuinely want. Not based off of your intellect, not based off of, what will just only work out for your relationship or the other person, but what you want, what just feels right on a soul instinct level. This feels right. This is what I should do. And it's about trusting yourself and, fulfilling, completing yourself, as I said before, and 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 following your intuition, trusting your gut, um, and not and another theme is not looking for external validation. Like, is this okay? Can I do this? Or do you mind if no. This is about just having that, again, that courage to just do something, go after it, on your own. Uh, and the other little note here is, being perfect in the partner you choose, necessarily speaking. Be perfect in the partner you choose. Will that partner respect you, your boundaries, your needs, your wants, and really, um, yeah. So that's what it comes down to. Nobody's perfect, but really finding a partner who is right for you, and who can also maybe inspire you and encourage you to step into your authentic self, and being you know self-sufficient, confident, assertive. Um, yeah. So that is all that I have to say about this North Node and South Node placement in the natal chart. I really hope that you enjoyed. Bye, everybody.